the time machine. Believe it or not, MySpace may be coming back. Gen Z brings mommy to a job interview. Oh, very nice. And Google hid something from you that is unbelievably helpful. And I found a video that explains it. I'm going to share it with you because I've already done it and I'm amazed at the success. We'll tell you about it coming up. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Jay Sheldon Show. Waiting for an encoding server to claim placeholder video. Yeah, that's what happens when I first start the stream and all the systems are kind of falling into place to get it pumped out there. Sometimes you will see that. Anyway, I'm here. I'm live on YouTube and Rumble. We're here Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and we are going ahead. Moving on ahead. So, this is a weird story. Rev up the time machine. MySpace owners. I can't believe somebody still owns MySpace, but they are looking at a possibility of a social media comeback. Ah, now that Facebook is really just a piece of garbage site that, nobody goes on or uses for anything in particular, might not be the worst idea. When we think about social media now, you think about Facebook and X and Instagram. But before all that got started, way before those platforms where you add friends and family to your friends list and watch funny videos, there was another internet trailblazer, which, if you're old enough, you'd know about. If you're young enough, maybe not. But Walt Zuckerberg was still developing the whole concept of Facebook. MySpace was the very first on the scene on the social media platform. Zuck and Facebook eventually took over the idea of connecting on the internet, but we may not have seen the last of MySpace. 20 years it's been since MySpace inhabited the bottom of the social media barrel. The owners of MySpace, who are brothers Tim and Chris Vanderhook, are looking to make a new start. This is the coolest thing with a platform so that it can compete once again with other social media giants. This is, man, can you imagine trying to get a major social media platform started with the likes of X and Instagram? Facebook, yes, but Facebook is so dead it doesn't matter. Anyway, they say they've got a completely new vision for MySpace, something that has a totally different feel from other social media platforms. That would be nice. Where the chief complaint is that a lot of users complain about the algorithms. And let me tell you about algorithms, folks. They are either the most helpful or hurtful things. If you do not figure out the algorithms, you're done. You're finished. My YouTube channel, which has over 1,000 subscribers, which is not great, but okay, um, it never gets pumped out there. It never has. I've been doing this for 20, 30 years on YouTube, not this show, but I've been posting things forever. And for some reason, at some point, my channel got marked. And no matter what I do, they will not push it out there. That's why I ask you to share and like the show and subscribe, because those things do help a little bit, not much, but they do help. But anyway, that is one of the biggest complaints is the algorithms, very often intended to keep you endlessly scrolling. Well, a recent documentary about MySpace, the brothers said, "We built an entirely new MySpace. We really tried to modernize it, But it was a different company at that point. It wasn't the same MySpace. By that time, they'd been through four other sets of management and CEOs. We're going to be the fifth ones. And I think that there were a lot of people out there who were really just done. Well, the Vanderhooks say that there is a plan to relaunch MySpace. No target date yet. The brothers apparently are very persistent. Tom Vanderhook said, if that one doesn't work, we'll do it again. My MySpace, which, I was trying to remember, I don't think I ever had a profile on the old MySpace. I was on the internet. I've been on the internet since the early 80s. I mean, in the early days of chat rooms and those kind of things, um, and have always been. That's why I'm pretty decent at, a lot of the workings of computers and the internet. I've been dealing with this since really like 80, 81, something like that. But anyway, MySpace, first on the media scene, launched in 2003. Users learned how to customize their profiles, create friends lists. There was also a music feature. Now, between 2005 and 2008, MySpace really had the corner on social media. They were the place to go, along with Facebook. Attracted about 115 million visitors a month in 2008. Facebook eventually surpassed MySpace, overtaking it with a unique US users in 2009 and overtaking MySpace's biggest demographics. They suffered a huge exodus in 2010. And since then, MySpace really has become a significant networking platform for musicians, bands of all kinds of genres of music to showcase their music. But maybe the biggest question for these Vanderhook brothers is, will they decide to be a more social environment where people go to connect with others or watch funny videos? Or will they dip their toes into the political waters? Especially if they've watched Zuckerberg or Elon Musk for any length of time, it should be pretty clear to them that Musk's insistence on free speech on X would be the best way to go for them if they're going to do this. We might get another dose of funny videos, but in the end, more speech, not less. Honestly, it can only be a good thing. Take a look at this post from Chad Ledger. And where are we? There you go. MySpace officially making a comeback, relaunching the platform to compete with Facebook. Can they bring back what social media made fun, or is Facebook too big to beat? Honest opinion, Facebook is already pretty much dead. Very few people use that platform anymore. I'm off it because of the censorship, which is absurd. So I encourage you to get off of it also. There's so many other great choices out there. Anyway, I mean, that would just be the weirdest thing to see MySpace come back, like rising from the ashes like a phoenix. That is weird. It'll be nice though. Yeah, I hope they do it right. Let's see. We'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. All right. Wait, are those tears Seattle's socialist mayor cracks as even the lefty media turns on her, and nobody deserves it more? Nobody. It has been 8 days since two gunmen opened fire at the Bite of Seattle event. The food festival, July 26, killed two, injured four others, including a toddler. And in the aftermath, some very serious questions were asked about the city's response to this attack, specifically about the fitness of their socialist mayor, Katie Wilson, and the whereabouts of the always AWOL police chief, Sean Barnes. We had told you earlier, I think last week, one day, that crime is so bad under Wilson's watch. Residents have begun putting up walls and other kinds of barriers just to keep the criminals out of their neighborhoods. They are getting very, very little protection from the police. Noticeably missing from Sunday night's press con, Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes, whose underlings were actually present, seemed a bit unprepared for the media crush. One of the gunmen was killed in the gunfire, and the other is facing assault and firearms possession charges. The other one, by the way, is 15 years old. Holy man. Well, Police Chief Barnes, as it turns out, very often can't be found. He's not in the city. He's the police chief, opting to spend a significant amount of time in Chicago, where he has family. His underlings did their best Keystone Cops routine in the hours after the shooting, putting out a press conference to inform the public of any remaining danger until the dignitaries arrived. And boy, Barnes did not like being called out for being MIA after the shooting. Take a look at this guy trying to, unsuccessfully, by the way, trying to defend himself.
The tension is still high 24 hours later.
I don't have to tell you where I go. I have a medical procedure I got to do on Friday. No. You need to know this. I have been here working as hard as I can for this city from the day I got here. Do you got that? You listen to me.
But there are reports that you are not in town often.
Their reports are wrong. Do you understand? You understand?
So when
I work.
Let's go.
Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes aggressively defended his position to Connor Nash of the South Seattle Emerald after heavy criticism of he and Mayor Katie Wilson's lack of updates during a public safety emergency.
Right here is where it happened. That's where the shooting started. Direct sight of this and our booth right there, okay?
Vendor Paul Nicholas is among the critics. Nicholas says he never received an update from Seattle Center, the mayor, or police department until he was asked to vacate the property this morning. In fact, the city took 5 hours to update the public and admit there was still an active shooter, with no text from the Alert Seattle system either.
I'm not sure that that's a tool that we normally use in situations like this. I think we were focusing on getting accurate information out through our normal communications channels.
But Seattle Council Public Safety Chair Bob Kettle says there is no good answer for the lack of communication. Why were there no text alerts?
I don't have the answer to that question.
I don't have the answer to that. Well, why don't you? Isn't that your job? That report from KOMO News, ABC News 4. Unbelievable. I don't have the answer to that question. Barnes, by the way, very clearly feeling the heat of actually being called out by the media for his part-time policing shtick. Oh, by the way, did we mention his annual salary? $360,485 a year. That does not include bonuses and benefits. Wilson, who'd apparently been perfectly fine with Barnes' no-show gig up until that point, apparently decided to deflect attention away from her own rather poor performance and basically threw Barnes under the bus. Not that he didn't deserve to be there. He resigned Thursday. Good. Bye. And then they turned to Mayor Wilson, who is now firmly in the hot seat about the city's post-shooting response, the overall dismal state of Seattle. It is a mess. Do trust me, folks, you do not want to go to Seattle. Amazingly, even the city's lefty media, they were pressing her for answers, and she looked on the verge of tears as she attempted to bat away their questions at a weekend press conference. Listen to this round of bullshit.
I understand that many of my colleagues on the city council disagree with the decision to move forward with a leadership change at SPD at this time. I am making what I firmly believe is the right decision at the right time.
The optics are that you are making Chief Barnes the fall guy for missteps that happened after the Seattle Center shooting, including the 5-hour lack of information, except for a statement from your office which contained errors. What do you want members of the public who say you've made him the fall guy?
Yeah, I'll just say again, I firmly believe that I'm making the right decision at the right time, and part of this is a feeling of urgency around upcoming events this summer, including this weekend, wanting to make sure that we have the right leadership in place at SPD, the right communications protocols, so that as we move forward, we can be much clearer with the public if something like that should happen again.
Well, there's an idea. Maybe do your job. How about that? Media focused on Wilson's allegedly using Barnes as the fall guy. Was she trying to hide? Did her office delay briefing the public so her guests could be there for it? Did the city properly staff the bite of Seattle with enough law enforcement in the first place? Will she do anything other than fire people, spout progressive platitudes about gun violence? The list just goes on and on with these idiots. She might have found a convenient fall guy in Barnes, but her firing her absent chief does not forgive her publicly or privately of any lack of performance. When Seattle needed true leadership, she faltered. And now she thinks, you hear her voice cracking there? Now she thinks a teary press conference is going to save her from having to answer for it. Spare us the quivering voice and watery eyes, Katie. We're not buying it. It ain't working. Seattle needs a mayor, not another victim. Okay? Crazy nuts. What else? Oh, this ties in well. Speaking of crazy ass mayors, Zoran Jihadistalin Mamdani campaigned to become the mayor of New York by promising a lot of free stuff. That's what these socialist commies do. All Democrats do it because he's a commie. But he supersized all of the horseshit-laden promises he made. He didn't just make a couple little minor promises. He made them as big and impossible as he possibly could. Now, if you are anywhere close to reality, all those freebies require very heavy subsidies from taxpayers. That would be you. Regular, everyday taxpayers, not the billionaires that Mamdani and his ilk are always railing against. The common, everyday Joe Jane taxpayer like you and me. One of his biggest magic money sops to his fans during the campaign was city-owned grocery stores. Remember that? Magnificently awful grand plan involves putting Big Apple taxpayers on the hook for all he needs to dupe his supporters, all while chasing away most of the biggest contributors to the tax base. They are all leaving New York. All the big money guys. Bye-bye. There goes your tax base. Political tightropes. This one's pretty high off the ground and hovering over a very tattered safety net. Even if the government could own anything, the thought of it is absolutely repulsive. Bureaucracy never brings anything good to the table. The bigger the bureaucracy, the worse it makes things. New York City's population greater than the population of 3/4 of the states in this country. And its bureaucracy, it's the wrong kind of robust. Pretty much every one of Mamdani's bold moves, expectations, had to be modified for the utopian unicorn government grocery project. From Jamie, sounds great. So last month, he announced the reality, a limited core basket including produce, meat, seafood, milk, bread, yogurt, and a few other things to be priced 30% below typical retail, whatever that means, in city-owned subsidized stores run by private for-profit operators, entitled to price everything outside the core basket at whatever they like. The discounted basket will be subsidized by the city. City covers capital, rent, property taxes, and users, as they announced, will be required to prove residency with a library card style identification. Wait, I thought the Democrats and commies didn't like these ID, having to have an ID. Wasn't that your take on this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. What it is simply is that these commies love the idea that citizens have to show their papers. What is your name? Show me your papers. Who in the heck knows, by the way, what typical retail means? We're talking about 30% below the price of baguettes and salami in an Upper East Side bodega? And even in normal neighborhoods in New York, they've got a higher cost of living. A discount from already ridiculously high prices is not a bargain. If Pottery Barn has a 30% off sale, it just means you'll be paying a little above what a regular furniture store would charge. Get the idea. There is just simply no way on God's green earth this is going to work. So you just keep voting them in, and we'll just keep pointing out what an idiot you are. Enjoy it. Unbelievable. All right, how about a little blackout coffee? Oh, yeah. Wait, where'd my camera go? There it is. Oh, man. From roast to cup, nothing in between. That's Blackout Coffee. They're an American company. They work with local co-ops and American farmers to grow the best premium beans. They harvest them at the right time of year, all grown in the right soil, right humidity, right temperature. And they only pick the top 80 or above percent on a 100-point scale. So these are the best premium beans they pick for your roasted beans. Now, you head over to the website. The link is in our description below. If you're a first-time buyer, you'll get 20% off with the code J20, Jay20. Blackout Coffee, all those great roasts. If you can't grind your own beans, by the way, it's okay. Often they've got the option of having them grind them for you. So not a problem. They've got pods, of course, flavored coffees that are beyond delicious. They are so good. They've got instant. They've got cold brew, all of it at Blackout Coffee. Go over there. By the way, one of the better ideas, I think, is they've got a coffee subscription. You sign up, And then every month you will automatically get delivered to your door whatever your favorite blend is. You can switch that at any time, you can cancel at any time, and it really is a great way to never run out of Blackout coffee. So check it out. Use the link in our description down there below and sign up for their coffee subscriptions. Great, great, great idea. All right. Let us head over to the WNBA. The woke WNBA coach take on trans athletes in women's sports just might be worse than you expect. Somehow they keep making it worse. We've talked ad infinitum about the ridiculous hyperventing in women's sports about Indiana Fever guard Stephanie Cunningham refusing to back down from her stance on men playing in women's sports. She said, "I'll get a lot of negative feedbacks from me hating trans, and I'm like, I never once said that," Cunningham said in an interview on ESPN. "I think I'm here to extend love, but I also think that with that love is truth, being honest. And I want to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in sports who should not have to go up against biological men." Well, that kind of makes sense, except the backlash, as you can imagine, has gotten very, very ugly. Some of the Cunningham fans harassed at WNBA games. Why? Oh, for the crime of expressing their support, including 2 teenage girls who got yelled at by Celeste Keaton, the co-owner of the Seattle Storm, during a game against the Fever. Some of the WNBA coaches have been dragged into the debate, not surprisingly. The ones who've been asked about the topic so far gave rather predictable responses. No surprises here. The one that came from the Golden State Vultures coach, Natalie Nakasi, really pretty much just took the cake. Do we have? Yes, we do. Let me play that for you now.
I know you don't have the Fever again in the regular season, but coming out of the break, one of the big news stories has been Sophie Cunningham and the protests for her and protests against her. And, you know, they had a national televised game today and Cheryl, you know, wore a shirt, and it's just a conversation. I'm wondering, just what do you think about it? Do you think that's good for the league? Does it detract from the basketball? Is it just noise? I'm just wondering what your opinion is.
I think, thank you for that question. I think just in terms of how I'm seeing it is, if I could answer with, like, for me, sports is about belonging. It's about inclusivity. It's about allowing everyone to be their authentic self. You know, I'm big on that just because I have been criticized for my height, for my ethnicity. I've been in those "you shouldn't belong here" many times. And for me, I don't want that space, especially Golden State, to ever feel like that. So I'm all about women, little girls deserving to play, and that includes trans women. So I'm all about inclusivity.
I'm all about inclusivity. Okay. Yeah. Babe, and I use that term loosely, sports is not about inclusivity. It's about finding the best, most skilled players you can to get the job done. Signing them onto your team regardless of the color of their skin, regardless of whether or not they check some box. It has to do with their talent, their ability to score points. Now, a lot of us are better spectators than players. But even if I identified as a superstar basketball player, that still wouldn't make me worthy of being on the women's basketball team. You have the talent, the strength, the stamina, the drive, all to go the distance. Sports is not about belonging. With very few exceptions, by the way, sports has typically been segregated between the sexes because men and women, here's some news for some of you, are made differently. In case you hadn't noticed, different strength levels, etc., which is why the inclusivity argument when it comes to trans women doesn't hold any water. You're wrong. Look, these arguments are nothing new. They're the same old arguments we have heard for years. Aren't you tired of it? The fact that it continues to be leftist women making them just confirms the disconnect between fantasy and reality. Those people, it remains very real, sadly. And that is literally hurting women. And that should not be. Get this one. What is Gen Z, by the way? Gen Z. Group of people born from 1997 to 2012, after the millennials and before Generation Alpha. Do I know people that fit in that category? Yes, I think I do. Well, how about this? A Gen Zer brought their mommy and daddy to a job interview. If you were born in those dates, you are an adult and you are old enough to do things on your own. Not only brings his mommy and daddy to the job interview, but then he has them call the boss. Listen to this. Steve Clark had to fire the same 24-year-old construction worker twice in one day. First came the conversation with the employee who had arrived late, missed work 4 times in his first week. A few hours later, the man's mother calls Clark and argues her son deserves another chance. This is like Karen activity. Well, Clark had to do it all over again. Clark is the chief operating officer of a staffing firm in Fairbanks, Alaska. And he had to explain that the employment decision involved the company and her adult son. Says, look, this is between us and your son. He's the employee. Her son, 24 years old. Employers around the country recounted dozens of stories where they've seen similar behavior, including these enabling idiot parents submitting applications, contacting recruiters, going along with their kid on job interviews, negotiating offers, challenging performance reviews, and, get this one, calling in sick for their adult children. I'm sorry, Freddie can't make it today. He's not feeling well. Well, let Freddie get his sick, fake ass out of bed and make his own phone call. You enabling moron. This is what 20 years of helicopter parenting, participation trophies, and failure-free school has produced. This is where we are. Mommy and daddy going on a job interview with their adult child. This generation entering the workforce having never been allowed to lose, struggle, face a consequence without mommy or daddy stepping in to soften the blow. You don't learn that way. There's actually an agenda that this issue has made at the Society for Human Resource Management, their national conference last June. They asked a room, listen to this, of 250 HR professionals whether they had dealt with a parent calling on behalf of an adult employee or appearing in an interview. More than half the room raised their hand. And a survey back in January of employed Gen Z adults helps put the numbers behind these stories. Zeddy, Resume Assistant Career Advice Platform, found that 44% had received parental help or editing a resume. 44%, well, almost half. 21% said a parent had contacted an employer or recruiter on their behalf. 20% had a parent join them at the job interview. And 10% said a parent directly negotiated the compensation, benefits, or job offer. Look, having somebody look over your resume is not a crime, certainly. It ain't a bad idea, actually, because when you've been staring at this thing forever and typing away and doing it, sometimes your mind just, your eyes don't see even an obvious spelling error or something. So to get somebody to do a quick review, make sure it all looks okay. No, nothing wrong with that at all. But to have mommy or daddy write your resume, that ain't gonna work. And yet this continues to happen, continues to go on to this day. Insane. Insane. Remember the story of Brett Kavanaugh's would-be assassin? Well, guess what? He's been moved from one prison to another. He is now in a cushy medical prison. The prison that he's in now is known for transing people. And guess who's paying for it? Yep, you and me. Nicholas Rosk has been assigned to a detention center that the Biden admin turned into a transgender intervention facility. Yeah, this is a prison, folks. Nicholas Rosk, would-be assassin of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who now identifies as a woman, has been assigned to the Federal Medical Center in Fort Worth, a detention center which, under the Biden admin, turned into a transgender medical intervention facility, offering inmates taxpayer-funded gender reassignment surgeries. Taxpayer-funded. Judge Deborah Boardman, again a Biden appointee, shirked the federal guidelines for sentencing Ross. Now goes by Sophie. How nice. Those guidelines recommended 30 years to life. Instead, Boardman gave him 8 years. Boardman persistently referred to Rosk, a male, with female pronouns, and she added, "I take into consideration the conditions of pretrial confinement and the fact that she is a transgender woman and will be sent to a male-only facility." Well, FMC Fort Worth is a male only facility, and its sister facility for females, FMC Carswell, is also in the Fort Worth, Texas area. Rosk filed letters to the court discussing his transgender ideations, and the Bureau of Prisons considers his identification as a transgender a psychiatric condition. He's also about 30 years old, by the way, and started identifying as a female in September of 2025, about a month before he got sentenced. So now he's been transferred to this transgender surgery operation, taxpayer money going to an absolute freaking waste. Oh, prison. It ain't a prison. Absolute hellhole. Stupid. You know what's not stupid? Spending your money on your mobile service with a company that believes in the same things you and I believe in. That's Patriot Mobile.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
PatriotMobile.com/J, J-A-Y. That is the link. It's in our description down below. Just pull that down. And you will get your first month free if you get signed up using that link with Patriot Mobile. And they've also got the little promo code. You just put in J, J-A-Y. That'll get you your first month free. They are a fantastic company. They support our Christian conservative values, and they do not support anything on the left. You know, every company donates a certain amount of their profits to different organizations, and this company donates those monies to groups and organizations that care about what we care about. First and Second Amendment, right to life, all that good stuff. Help support Patriot Mobile. Again, it's so easy to switch. You keep your phone, you keep your number. Everything stays the same, except where your money goes. PatriotMobile.com/J. All right. This is a weird one. I have several different Gmail addresses, emails. And on one in particular, I continue to get all these weird spams or email newsletters that I don't remember signing up for. Maybe you get the same thing in your Gmail. Believe it or not, there is a way, and I just did this today. I could not believe how many subscriptions somehow I got signed up for over the last however many years. But there is a way to manage that. And this guy, let me give him some credit. Matty McTech, he's at Setup Spawn over on X. And this piece of information is absolutely worthwhile. Take a look. And by the way, if you miss anything, you can always go back and replay this show again and get to the, I don't know, where are we? Maybe 45-minute mark or so, and check it out. You can hit pause and watch that again so you figure out exactly how to do it. But it's very, very simple. Listen to this.
Here's a Gmail trick I guarantee you didn't know. Did you know if you're using Gmail, there's an easy way to get rid of all these newsletters and promotional emails that you're subscribed to? So first, go to your Gmail inbox right here and then click in the URL up top where it says #inbox. Then you're going to delete the inbox part and type in sub and hit enter. And it's going to show you all the email lists that you're subscribed to. Okay, someone used my email to subscribe to this one. That definitely was not me. And it'll even show you how many emails they sent to you recently. So when you find one you don't want, just hit this unsubscribe button to the right. And now we can easily unsubscribe just by hitting this button. Easy.
And I'm telling you, folks, it absolutely works. I today unsubscribed myself from, it must have been 75 or 100 different places that were sending me newsletters and stupid marketing emails, and I got rid of all of them. Unsubscribed. Again, you go to your inbox and you will see up in the bar in the URL /inbox. So erase the inbox, but keep the hashtag and type in sub and hit enter. And that's how you see what he just showed you. And then over on the right side of the screen, you'll see this little icon says unsubscribe, and it'll just confirm you want to. You click yes, and there you go. You're off their mailing list. That is insanely helpful. I hope you do that. Get off those mailing lists. Clean up your inbox. It's a great way to do it. And thank you for that Gmail trick from Maddie McTech at Setup Spawn over on X. Some fantastic information. Karen, hello. Nice. What is that icon? I can't tell. It looks like a bear with lipstick and a crown. It's very small on my screen over here, so I can't really tell. Anyway, Karen, hello, good morning. All right. I'm going to be right up front with you and tell you that this is AI generated. Now, that should be pretty obvious to you, but I'm playing it anyway because it is so funny. Whoever created this, and I don't know who it is, it was posted by Min Choi, at Min Choi on X. And if you think AI videos can't be funny, well, you would be wrong. It's a very quick little video, but watch this. Play it again. Oh, man. That is so lifelike. AI is amazing. Absolutely amazing. That is damn funny. It's so real looking. Absolutely real looking. That's insane. Karen says, LOL, it's the mind blown emoji. Ah, okay, now it makes sense. Oh, man. All right, time to back out of here. It's Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I'll be back again tomorrow with the Wednesday Hump Day edition. Please subscribe and like and follow wherever you're watching our show. Even if you're watching here on Rumble, head over to YouTube, look up The Jay Sheldon Show, and give us a subscribe over there. You don't have to watch over there. You can if you like. It's up to you. But just give us a subscribe so we grow our user base. It really helps. All of our sponsors are down there in our description, including our link to our PayPal account if you'd like to make a donation to the show. It really helps, and I thank you from the bottom of my wrinkled old heart. Every penny really does help. You just use your bank card or your bank account. It's secure, it's safe, and make a donation to the show. Help keep the lights on and help keep us free. All right, we'll see you again tomorrow.